Hey there, Michelle. What's going on today?
Not too much, Lindsay. Lindsay, what's the best meal you've had recently? Does anything stand out in your mind?
Definitely. So just last weekend, I went to a Vietnamese place and had an amazing tofu banh mi sandwich, and it was
Ooh,
very simple, and it
ooh.
was it was cheap, but it was good. And I've been to some restaurants in the last couple of weeks, but to be honest, that banh mi sandwich was the best.
That sounds delicious. I love that.
Ah,
Is there,
yes.
Lindsay, do we say anything like in American English? Is there anything specifically that we say at the start of a meal?
Oh, good question, Michelle. We say a lot of different things, and it depends on our personality. It might depend on what we heard growing up, depends on who we're with. But I might just say, enjoy is something I might
Mm-hmm.
say, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you say?
Yeah. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today because I mean, we don't I think in English there's not really a specific
Yeah.
formal thing to say. So in
Yeah.
French, I always think of bon appetit, which actually, I
Yes.
mean, Lindsay, do you ever say that?
Bon appetit sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do carry that over. I remember in Japanese, we used to say tabimasho. Tabimasho means let's eat, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
There's yeah, and in many cultures and countries we have something that we say.
Mhm.
In
Mhm.
Spanish, salud, I think we used to
Mhm.
say, right? So good.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
feel that there's a complete English equivalent, right? So we might say different things, but I don't
Yeah.
think we have kind of a direct one to one. Oh, this is what we say, right? What do you think?
Yes. It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite mean the same thing. We don't yeah. We it yeah, and that makes sense because cultures are so different, right? Cultures are so
Yeah.
different. And before we get too much further into this topic, we do wanna make sure that we say thank you because manners are important.
Yes. Yes.
We wanna thank our special listeners who took the time to go and write a review for All Ears English. Today, these people left a review in the Android app. Remember, guys, we have an Android and an iOS app, and you can review us in there. So thank you
Mhm.
to Ahmed Fatih Mohammed, 5-star review. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nored Afsani from I don't not sure where that person is from, but reviewed us on April 20th. Jose Miguel Castillo, thank you so much. Amazing, another 5-star review. So thank you to
Mm.
these special reviewers. Guys, go and leave your review to get your name announced on the show. All right.
Thank you so much. We're really appreciative.
Very nice. All right, Michelle, where to go from here?
All right, so we're going to talk also about, if some are used not just about starting a meal, but about eating in general. So we're going to
Mhm.
get more into this in just a second. But we did teach a couple of good ones
Yeah.
in this episode you did with Aubrey, which was
Yeah.
episode 2386, was wait up English phrasal verbs for softening imperatives. And in that one, you guys talked about eat up and dig in. Um,
Yes. Yep.
yes, and
Mhm.
maybe drink up as well.
Yep.
So yeah, so guys, there are some good ones over there. So check that episode out. So yeah, let's get into what we might say. So what's the first one, Lindsay?
Okay, we might say, shall we? And this is nice. I mean, we just did an episode last time we recorded, Michelle, about what happens when one person gets their food before the other. This is
Mhm.
continuing on that theme, kind of. Maybe you're sitting in a restaurant and you've both gotten your food at the same time, right? And
Right, and I'm
mhm.
gonna give you the number for that episode towards the end
Okay,
of
good.
today, so
Yeah.
we'll let you know which one that was, but definitely a super good one to listen to
Yeah.
along with this. Yeah, that looks amazing. Shall we or shall we? It looks amazing. Does that feel
Yes.
natural to you, Lindsay?
Yeah, it does. I like shall we. It's kind of polite and elevated a little bit. But again, it's communicating with the person in front of you, right?
Mhm.
Also, it could also be useful if you're dining in a group and you just maybe someone has spoken some words or something. There's some kind of announcement, and then you're ready to transition into actually picking up our forks and eating. Someone might say this,
Mhm.
shall we?
Mhm.
right?
Shall we? Right? We don't need
Mhm.
to say, "Shall we eat?" If we know if we both have our forks,
Yeah,
we
but
know
you
what we're
can
talking
though.
about.
You can say that,
You
right?
could say,
Mhm.
"Shall we eat?" But you don't have to if we know what
Yes.
we're talking about.
All right, so let's
Um,
get a lot more casual here for
this
the
is
next
casual.
one, Michelle.
Yes. Oh, that's true. We're taking another turn. The next one is chow down, and that one is very casual. Lindsay, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, it's like between shall we and chow down, you're in 2 totally different households, right? I mean, different people
That's true.
different kind of, norms in the home, right?
Yeah.
So, you could say, "Okay, everyone, now let's all chow down. Tammy, this looks amazing." Yes.
Tammy, that Tammy is
Tammy.
she's a
She must
great
be a
cook.
good cook. Yeah, Tammy.
So, but yeah, and chow down, it doesn't have to be the let's chow down. You could also say, "Oh, we were chowing down on this amazing dish," right? So you could use it in that way as well.
Yeah, I guess you could use it that way for sure. Yeah. All right. And then another thing you might say with your family or friends and just indicating that we can begin eating is
Mhm.
let's eat.
Yeah, simple
Right?
as that. You could say,
Yeah.
Let's eat, everyone. I hope you're hungry, but save room for dessert."
Mhm.
Lindsay, do
Yes.
you get, like, full from your meal and then you're not full for dessert?
Yeah, I used to say that as a kid. I'm full for dinner but not for dessert. That's what we used to
Yeah.
always say to our parents.
Yep, exactly. It's like 2 different stomachs.
Yeah. I have a second stomach waiting for my chocolate ice cream or my
Yes,
chocolate lava cake, right?
of
Yeah.
course.
Um, and then we might just say simply enjoy, right? I like that one.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mhm. So, but we would always kinda just say it like, "Enjoy," right?
Right.
And I think that servers, like waiters and waitresses, will use this a lot as well. So,
Yeah.
here's an example. So, "Here's your salad."
Oh, thank you. It looks amazing.
"Alright, enjoy."
Right. And just to be clear, waiters and waitresses would not say chow down
Mhm.
or shall we. Those don't apply. This
Right,
enjoy is something that you could say as one of the people dining to the group, or the
right.
waiter or waitress could say it. But this is the only one that would work for that scenario. Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Or, you could just say, what's another example, Lindsay, of how you might use this about
Another
Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving. Yes. This is a beautiful Thanksgiving meal. All right, enjoy. Right. So yeah, so this could just be me. We were just served, or maybe a family member just got the plates out, and we all have our plates and we're waiting to eat. And then someone says, "All right, enjoy," or people say it at the same time. Maybe.
Mhm. Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
So which one of these feels the most natural to you? Because I do think that generally we say, if especially if it's a more formal, like we're about to start Thanksgiving or something, that we
Hmm.
generally say something before eating.
Yeah. I think enjoy sounds the most feels the most natural to me. I didn't grow up in a religious household. Some people do say prayers before they eat if they're
Mhm.
religious, for example, so there might be other things they might say, but we didn't do that when I was growing up. So enjoy is pretty neutral, friendly, not overly fancy, but
Mhm.
not overly casual either.
Yeah. Definitely a good catch-all. So,
Yeah.
it's a safe one to use. So, Lindsay, let's do a role play with some of these. Here we are. We're getting food at a restaurant.
Okay, here we go. So, oh wow, I'm so happy I ordered the pasta.
Looks delicious.
So does your pizza. Okay, shall we?
Let's. I've been waiting to chow down on pizza for a while.
All right, let's eat.
Enjoy.
This is a very natural role play, right?
Mhm.
So guys, go back and listen again to how this went because it's incredibly natural.
Mhm.
Let's go through it, Michelle. So what did I say first?
You said that my pizza looks delicious, and you said, "Okay, shall we?"
Yeah, and I said, "So does your pizza." Yeah, often that's the other thing that we haven't talked about yet. People comment on each other's food, and I've made a couple of comments on this show. Don't don't like do like a, ugh, when you look at someone's
No.
food, right? It's
Don't
really
yuck
rude.
somebody's
Don't
yums.
yuck someone's, yeah, don't do that. That's really rude. I like to eat things that are pretty healthy, like tempeh or maybe tofu. And
Me
sometimes
too.
I'll get like a ooh when it comes to the table. And I'm like, don't do that to someone. I'll
I
start doing
remember
that when steak
yeah.
comes to the table to someone else if they do that to me. You know what I mean?
Right. I was buying tofu, some sort of tofu something at
Yeah.
the grocery store recently, and the cashier said, "Oh," like he
Oh
made a reaction.
no,
I'm like, "Come on,
really?
man. I
That is not good for sales. Oh my
no."
gosh, that's shocking from the cashier.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yes, you said, "Okay, shall we?" And then I said, "Let's. I've been waiting to chow down on pizza for a while."
Yeah, and then I said, "All right, let's eat." Right?
And I said,
Yeah.
"Enjoy." Lindsay, do you ever have buyer's remorse over what food you order when you see what somebody else got?
Yes, because I feel like I always order the wrong thing. I do. I always order the wrong thing. I order very poorly. Very poorly. So that
That's
happens. You,
funny.
Michelle? Do you order well
Yeah. Oh,
or
yeah.
poorly?
Sometimes I try and anticipate that feeling. So I'll think about what the person is ordering, and I think, "Oh, am I going to be jealous of what this person orders?" And
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
it's a
So
whole
that's
thing.
yes. That's a. I'm sure that's a very human feeling that our listeners can relate to as well.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, go back and listen to episode 2409. Don't let it get cold. Restaurant English for connection. So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
There are so many norms around sitting down at a restaurant or at a family's home and eating with the people that we
Mhm.
want to know this, right? So the
Mhm.
connection can truly begin through the conversation, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. hmm
Exactly. Yeah. So these are really good. Again, just for takeaway, we don't you might say bon appetit, right?
Yeah, sure.
People throw it around, they know what it means. But yeah, we don't I wouldn't say that we have one specific thing that is really sad. I mean, listen, I don't want to generalize either because I don't know if in French everybody's just all the time saying bon appetit. Like I don't know.
Right, right,
You
right,
know,
right.
it's possible
hmm
that's if we have any listeners who speak French and or in France, you know, let me know, is this really the common expression, or is that what everybody thinks people say? So
Yeah,
great.
but in English, you do have a lot of choices. So use them all, try it out, see which one feels right, and go with that. All right.
All
Very
right.
good. And guys, don't forget to leave a review for All Ears English
Yes.
wherever you're listening in the app or in the podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iOS app, Android app. Write your review and we'll read your name out loud on the show. Okay. Good.
All right. Thanks for
All
talking
right.
about this with me, Lindsay. I'll see you next time.
All right. Take care, Michelle. Bye.
Bye.